The book is one of the most amazing, violent, perfectly vernaculared, stories that I've read in a long time. And even though it's a linear story, just the structure of what he did with it was incredible. It's a throwback. It's a throwback to men are men, and women are really running the show. Even though they may be squeaky and a bit soft, or seemingly. So I just love the trio and how it seemed like it was one person split three ways, and maybe that's Cormac, and I don't know because he doesn't really talk about the writing. But I identified with each character in different circumstances or situations that I would put myself in, and I'd go, I completely identify with this. I love that he did this. But to me, together, the thing that was most powerful was the principle that each character had, or the loss of principle that each character had. Sugar being the most, and Bell being the least, and then Moss being somewhere in between. So I think it was that I attached myself to when I read it. I grew up on a ranch. I grew up with 65 horses, feeding 65. I didn't like it, but I grew up working hard on a ranch, and I know these guys really, really well. Moss all he is just a compilation of a lot of guys that I grew up with, and they're all exactly like him. So there's no, this is far-fetched, this or that. All these guys have these principles. All these guys would do exactly the same thing given this circumstance. So, if I have a question about my hat, I call one of my buddies. I say, how should I put, would I wear my hat in the restaurant? What kind of restaurant is it? Well, it's Bob's Big Boy. Absolutely, keep that hat on, Bob's Big Boy. Well, it's a nicer, no, definitely take it off. If you're going to drink wine, take it off, for sure. It's funny because he's doing, basically an American Western thriller. And he's Spanish, and he's very Spanish. He's as Spanish as you can get. So he's completely open, and he doesn't really have an idea of how the Western thing is. But he's totally open. And I think that no matter how much he puts on a face of, the Grim Reaper, there's an openness to him that makes it far more scary than if somebody just gave a look. I'm going to kill you look, He brings this soul to it that it makes it very eerie. It makes it, you don't understand it, you can't pigeonhole it, you can't categorize it, So, he's so many different people in one, and he's very malleable, but not malleable on your terms, malleable on his own terms. So, I think he's incredible, incredible. He's a great hybrid of incredible smarts and a country boy, and I get the country boy, and very much so. And the few conversations that we've had, he nailed me because he's from San Saba County, and that's where Llewellyn Moss is from, and he couldn't help but remind me of that many, 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 many times, and challenge me on what kind of clothes I was choosing and whether that was a San Saba choice or this or that, whether I had the accent down or whatever it is, But Tommy's, I said before, the ego can't live in this environment, and Tommy has been incredibly sweet and incredibly giving, and and he's Tommy, man. He's a huge star, and yet he's coming in here and he's one of the boys, which is great. I love working with them because they're both equally brilliant in their vision, and they're studied in their vision. They know exactly what they want. And yet they're completely open to suggestions. What if I did this? Yeah, I like that. Let's do that. What if we did this? Yeah, let's try that. So they're very open to creative collaboration. And yet they're very set in what they want from a general sense,